Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Heike and you're watching Stone Cold Coffee Crafts, and my calendar informed me this morning it's time to film Flosstube number 4. Wow, I had to double check actually that 2 weeks had gone by already. I hope this will be a shortish one as far as short for me goes, because I actually don't have all that much to show you. I have one FFO. Yay! I have finished the koala last week, the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Australia pattern, the charity pattern, and I also managed to FFO that thing right away, and I'm super proud because this is my first FFO ever. There you just saw my little assistant come up on the table. Hi Lola, good morning. So we're filming this in the morning, actually before work. I will apologize for any kind of brain farts. I'm not a morning person, but I have to do this in the morning if I want to do this at all today. And I'm sorry. Yay. Yeah, so this is a really cute big cat hat. Kitty, thank you. This is actually a super cute stitch, I have to say. I stitched this on 18 count aider. One thread of floss. Oh, ah! Oh, no. That was my knitting. She was attacking. One thread of floss over one thread of fabric. Because I have mentioned in the past I don't like how 2 threads look on 18 count, and I wanted to try 1 thread on 18 count. It is a bit bare for some of the colors. It is fine for the white and the pink and the gray. Also for the yellow, in my opinion. It is a bit bare for the brown and the green, and it was bare for the black. So the black is the only 2/1 on this, because I wanted to have a bit better coverage on that. I ordered the hoop ages ago because I knew right away I wanted to do this in a hoop. I know, super creative. I think nearly everyone did. And all the ribbon and flowers and stuff are from my stash. Both the ribbons for the bow up here and to wrap around the loop are from Stampin' Up. I am also a card maker and a stamper, so I have a pretty big cat. I have a pretty big Stampin' Up stash, and I thought these ribbons were super cute to go with that. So the one I wrapped around the hoop is this see-through organza. I think the color is called Limeade. It was an in color several years ago. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think they might have done a color renovation and then added it to the regular. Trying to keep her from that, because every time she does that, more cat hair sticks to the piece. They might have done a color renovation and then added the color to the permanent stock, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, cat hair. Oh, Kitty, I love you so much, but I already had an allergy attack last night at 1 a.m. Yeah, I'm allergic to my own pets. And she's very in my face right now. The flowers are mulberry paper flowers, also often used for paper craft, and they came from a UK supplier. I think they are still in business. If they are, I'm going to link the link down below, but they are called Wild Orchid Crafts. Yeah, so this is my first FFO, and I am stupidly proud of it. I have nothing else finished this week. I also haven't framed my Bayun cat yet. I've got the frame. I ordered that right away, so yeah, the camera is a bit too low to show it completely to you, but I think you can see it has this bit of an old finish, but it's a very simple frame. I have a good shop here in Germany where I can order custom size frames for a decent price. The downside is that their selection isn't too big, and also that the color selection for the frames isn't too too white, so I went with black that had a bit of a distressed look. And I think this actually looks pretty good. So the reason why I haven't framed this yet is because I don't have any mat board to mount my stitching on before I put it in the frame. Still have to get that. The plan was to do that this weekend, but for whatever reason my plans didn't work out as I thought they would. Oh, itchy nose because of that one here. So that's it for finished and FFO. Whips, it was a pretty bare week for whips. Well, one of my whips was quite obviously the koala. I finished that one. And then the only other stitchy thing I worked on was my Stitch Your Own Adventure, because I finally got my fabric for it. And that's how much I did on it. I will be honest, currently I am absolutely bored by this, so I could have done a lot more. I didn't stitch all weekend. I stitched a bit on Friday, but I didn't stitch for the rest of the weekend, pretty much because I didn't want to touch this one. I contemplated putting something else on the frame, but in the end decided to do something else, which you will see towards the end of this Flosstube episode. There will be a bit of knitting at the end of this episode, so if you're not interested, I will tell you when you can switch off, but if you're interested, please stay until the end. So yeah, this is 20 count Ada in the color Flagstone from Crafty Kitty, and I ordered this mid of December. Crafty Kitty has at the moment a bit of a delay. Usually she states on her homepage it's a 4 week cycle from ordering to her dying to receiving it. This was more like 8, but I think she has a lot going on in her personal life right now, so no problem at all. I have decided to wait until the second letter, so the first letter is here and the house banner is supposed to go in there, which in my case is a Slytherin banner, according to what used to be Pottermore. I have tried to go back and actually check what my wand looks like, and it seems they have, in recent years, because I haven't logged into that site for years, changed it to something like Magic World. I can't even remember any longer, so my account doesn't exist any longer. But once upon a time when I was doing Pottermore, I was a Slytherin. So I'm going to put the Slytherin banner in here at some point. I don't know when. But I have decided to wait for the second letter to release on March 1st and see if whatever the super complicated pick and choose your adventure chart Stewart has put together comes up with for my first letter, if that maybe will pique my interest a bit more. I don't know. I hope so, because I actually think it's a wonderful thing to stitch and to do during the year, but right now I just can't get into it. I have pulled it off the frame now to show you in this video, and I'm going to leave it off the frame. I'm going to put something else on there this afternoon. Maybe, because sometimes I am just like that, maybe because it's off the frame now, I want to stitch it. Who knows? It could happen. So, I mentioned this is Flagstone. It is a light gray, cream, taupish kind of color, and I thought it would go very well with the theme of letters. It's not exactly the called for, but I think it's a good alternative, all things considered. And it's a 20 count because I didn't want to have this too big and started out with 18 count. Never put a stitch in it because I then learned that I hated stitching 2 threads over 18 count. And quite honestly, I didn't think back then that I could stitch with just 1 thread. Maybe I should have tried it, but on the other hand, the fabric I had chosen is actually this one here. It's a bit of a twinkly fabric. I don't think that you can see a bit of a shimmer, I guess. This is from Fabric Flare, and I think it's called Cloudy Blue. It's a very light blue with a cloudy white effect. That doesn't show up on camera at all. But the fabric, when you have this sparkle on it, it's actually not woven in. It is printed on, and this gives the fabric a gummy feel. So I'm not sad that I didn't go with it in the end, because I would have hated it with a passion for such a big project. I already hated it for the small one. So yeah, I chewed Rachel's ear off about my dislike of stitching 2/1 on 18 count, and I think I infected her. She was so far along on hers already. I'm still feeling awful about it, but she has put in quite a bit of work, and unlike me, and she is much further. She's already stitching the banner, and then I decided I was going to go with 20 count, and show you the stitches a bit close up. I think it actually looks pretty good. At some point I will probably try out 22 count. That might work as well. Or we'll straight move over to 25 even weave, because I have a couple of pieces I would like to go on that. So yeah, this is going to go into timeout now. And I think this afternoon I might put on my Renato Paulin squirrel, which, let's do plans and haul in one. So let's go to haul. First off, I got my first Evertote order from Caroline of the Crit Needle Arts, and I had to get this stash squirrel. It is too cute. It is absolutely too stinking cute. And Love You More Studio Co. actually just last Friday released a sleeve with the same fabric. I was very tempted, but I thought, no, you just got your Evertote. You're not going to buy that now as well. But if you prefer Love You More Studio Co., they have that now too. Otherwise, please visit Caroline's shop and think about getting this one. I think it's still available, and it's so stinking cute. And because it fits, this is now holding my squirrel pattern, the Renato Paulin squirrel. And I think this is going to go on next, because I just received my fabric for it, which is this Zweigart Petit Point in the dark brown color. This is a 32 count Lugana Murano fabric. They sell these as linen as well, but I decided to go with the even weave. And I think I mentioned before that my plan thread, so this is actually the Notions tote, but or Notions bag, I have right now my thread in here. So this is all going to be stitched with just this one color of thread, and this is Samson by Threadworks. It's also very interesting. I wasn't sure if I could stitch the whole thing with one skein. I think you can see pretty well how different the two skeins are of this. So this is 2 batches, sadly, because I only could order one when I ordered it the first time, and I had to back order the second. So quite different. I'm going to try and do this all with one skein, but who knows if that works out. So this is also one of the first pieces of fabric I got this week. Yep, more fabric. I think I'm really the worst fabric dragon out there right now. So I think the plan is for this to go on the frame next. I don't know if this will be a start to finish in one go as well, like the Biome Cat was. It's not exactly that I plan it like that, but sometimes it just happens. And I have to say, these bags are so well made. I mean, I can't sew at all, so it's not like I'm an expert, but they feel so good, they look so good. I really love this, and I have another one on the way. I ordered one of her Alice collection bags. I haven't checked, maybe it's already in Germany. Customs tends to sit on stuff like that for a couple of weeks, which is super annoying. And I think we will move on with more fabric. Get that behind us. So another thing I ordered was another piece of 32 count Murano in the color Vintage Gray. I thought I would try this one. It's a good color to have in your stash. And I thought, let's see if this would maybe be a good alternative for the Frosty Forest or the Nora Corbett Gothic house I have. And I think I actually might stitch the Frosty Forest on that. I wanted to go with the Dove Gray from Extra Design, but that is much more blue than this gray. And I think I prefer this Vintage Gray for that. So this might go on the frame very, very soon as well, because I have now everything to do the first 3 squares for that one. So this is also nothing special, just Zweigart as it comes to store, Vintage Gray, 32 count Lugana. This is a 25 count Lugana in the color Vintage June. This is a color that confuses me because every shop shows a different image of it. So I wasn't sure what I was going to get. If I was going to get this super light, barely a touch of cream color, or if I was going to get a true sand color. So I'm actually very happy with this color. I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous neutral. And not too brown, so I adore this. I assume, because I haven't seen it yet, there's also, is it called Vintage Marble? I'm not so sure. I assume that the base color for that one will probably be pretty similar, and the modeling will be more gray. I have decided to go with, with this one for the Linen and Threads Mystery Sampler SAL. The one I'm going to stitch with purple, because I think this fabric is actually pretty. I intended to do sparkly fabric, but quite honestly, purple is already a weird color for a sampler. I think I don't have to add sparkle to it as well. So this is going to be the one, and it will make it a bit less big, because that sampler is pretty huge. I think even in the 18 count, did I plant 18 count? I think I had, oh no, I had purchased 20 count Ada. Even with a 20 count, it would have been, I think, 45 by 45 centimeter, which is super big. So I'm not sad to go a bit smaller. Yeah, I'm going to stitch this one with purple silk from Silks for You 1/1, I guess. So, and then another just off the rack piece of fabric I got is this 32 count Lugana in the color Platinum. And I got this because of blends. So as you know, I've purchased a few things from our Forest Embroidery. And I recently checked they have a whole section on their shop with free patterns. And I checked that again, and I don't know why I hadn't paid attention to them, but there are 12 fairy tale houses on there. They are all free, and each and every one of them has some type of special stitches in them. So I've downloaded these 12 patterns now, and I decided to stitch them all on one piece of fabric, and in a couple of them the recommended fabric was platinum. So I got the platinum, and I have no idea when I will start this, no rush at all, but if I want to, I have the fabric, I have the patterns, and I'm probably going to kit up the floss as well. It's just DMC, so it shouldn't be a problem. So, and let's move away from the off the rack. You already saw my flagstone. I also got a second piece from Crafty Kitten, which is a 20 count Ada in Jurassic Sands. I thought I would get this color as well, because I wasn't sure if the flagstone was as perfect as I thought it was. So this was my backup. This is going in my stash now. I have no plans for this one at the moment. Something will come up at some point. I have no doubts about that. But yeah, also pretty piece. It's like the name suggests, very sandy brown. Oh, kitty. Please don't eat the fabric. Or the plastic around the fabric, I should say. Okay. Then I got this piece of fabric by hand dyed by Rolanda. She is on Etsy. She's in Canada. I believe this is, I have forgotten what that fabric is. I'm just great at that. It's an even weave, I can say that much. It's just a question what the count is. It's a 28 Lugana opal. And she doesn't really name her colors, so I don't have a fancy color name for you, but it's a pretty blue. And I thought this might be a good blue for the long dog. If I want to stitch it on a glittery fabric, I don't know yet. But knowing me, I probably want to. Because that one will be stitched with a very conservative cream-colored silk by Silks for You. So I guess to give it a bit of me touch, I could get away with the sparkly fabric. So let's put that away again. And I usually don't pull the fabrics out of the bags during these videos because of her. She is into everything, and the hairs stick to everything, so I try to avoid that. Yeah. Does it taste good? Yummy fabric? Yeah. Fantastic. So, and the last one is a giant piece of even weave from Chromatic Alchemy. This is Al's Dark Magic, a 32 count, and as you can see, this is a half yard. I have been thinking about getting this because of the size of the piece for quite a while, but honestly, I absolutely adore the color, and I knew that on even weave it would come out a bit more purple than on the linen. I think she also has a piece of linen still in the shop for that, but I think it's not glittery, and that comes out much darker, but I knew this one would come out lighter and more what I wanted it to look, so I finally caved and got it, and I'm very happy about it because this is just the perfect color of night purple. So this is definitely going to be my fabric for something Halloween, probably at least 2 projects because of the size of the fabric. Yeah, so that's all the fabric for this week. Surprisingly enough, I don't have too much fabric on the way. My second Fortnite Fabrics fabric of the month has shipped last week, and I won a few pieces from Bestitch Me in her Friday Night Fight Night events on Facebook. So these are still outstanding, but who knows when they arrive. The last time I ordered something from Bestitch Me, Customs decided to sit on it for nearly a month, so it could be some time. So, speaking of patterns, I, of course, did get a few patterns. I got Midnight Watch by Blackbird Designs, and I think it's a no-brainer why I got this, Halloween and Cats. 2 things you will always get me with, and I also absolutely adored the border around this. I will be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of stitching alphabets, so what I was thinking about doing was taking out the alphabet part here and finish the border off down here in some way. I might keep the year, so I thought about maybe doing initials and the year, and then basically that would be positioned here and then finish it off without the rest of the alphabet. And I'm sorry if that is some kind of blasphemy, but I'm just not the biggest fan of the alphabets. And while we're talking about Blackbird Designs, I also got the Home for the Holiday book. This has 8 patterns, I believe. I think it has 8 patterns. The reason why I got this reasons, I should say. The sampler here, the Christmas garden. I absolutely adore this one. I think I mainly like it because it doesn't have an alphabet. It has the Christmas garden and it has all the initials, but it doesn't have a random alphabet somewhere in there. And I think I'm going to stitch this at some point. And the second piece I absolutely fell in love with is the 'Tis the Season bird. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. I'm not usually an shiny bird person, but this, yep. So I have to think about how and where and why I want to stitch this one, but it's going to happen at some point. While I was shopping for fabrics, I of course had to shop for patterns, and you might see a bit of a theme here. We have another Halloween pattern by Tralala. It is the Mouton d'Halloween, das Halloween-Schaf, or the Halloween sheep. Ha! Multilingual. This is it's just killing me. It's so cute. It's just so cute. It has a cat, it has a witch, and it has a sheep. And it's Halloween. Oh, it also has this little birdie here, but he gets a bit covered up by the ribbon. I don't think he's the one thing that jumps into your eye. But he has a little friend over here. So yeah, this is so stinking cute. No idea when I'm stitching this. It was just shiny. Had to get it. And then of course, because I seem to be unable to put in an order without ordering something from the Blue Flower. So this time it is the Color of Winter. And yeah, this is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen exactly like this. Maybe not the fabric. I don't know which fabric was used. Flagstone by Lakeside Linens. I might change that out because getting Lakeside Linens is currently proving to be a bear. I've ordered the vintage pair for my Toil and Trouble, and my estimated time for shipping it out is 8 weeks. Wow. How long can it take to dye a piece of linen? Yeah, so not too impressed, so I might switch that out for probably something from the UK dyers, because they get to me much faster. And I don't have the customs pain with them yet. Might change next year. And then I got 2 kits from Forest Embroidery. There will be a detailed unboxing of these 2 up on my channel, hopefully not too far off, I guess next week. I'm currently trying to have something stitchy every week on my channel. So this week is Flosstube. That means the unboxing will probably up sometime next week. But I wanted to show you anyway. I got the Baba Yaga kit. And as always, because I'm a weirdo and I like stitching borders, the thing that drew me to it instantly is the border. I mean, she is cute as well, but that border. So it's not too big. It's 111 by 111, which will translate to 17.8 centimeters square, 17.5. Oh, that is, what is that? 7 inches. 7 inches. And it is like my Bayou Cat stitched on a 32 count Belfast linen by Zweigart. Giving you a quick look into the... So these are the colors, just a very quick look. The needle minder, because all the kits come with a needle minder. And I already took the fabric out, pressed it and rolled it. But it's pretty much very dirty brownish sandish linen. Not too spectacular. And the second kit I got was the Frog Princess or Princess Frog or whatever it's called. It's not exactly the same as the Brother Grimm fairy tale, but it's something with this princess and frogs. So this is a bit bigger. This will turn out a bit bigger than the Bayou Cat. It's 21.5 by 28 centimeter or 136 by 137 stitches. And it is once again stitched on a 32 count. I think this is one of the oldest kits because this has the contents just in Russian, and the other two I had it in 2 languages, as you just saw. But I guess, and I always forget, no, this is stitched on Lugana. They had an option for this one, linen or Lugana, and I chose Lugana. But all the information you need, you can actually still guess, even if you don't speak Russian. So once again, the fabric is not in there. It's already pressed and rolled. But these are the colors. Pretty, aren't they? And there is somewhere in there is also... Oh no, the needle minder is already on my needle minder rack. So yeah. But as I said, I filmed an unboxing for this. It should be up next week. So if you're interested in seeing it in all its glorious detail, come back and check that out. Oh, sniffly nose. And that's it as far as stitching goes. That's all I have. Not as much as I had in the last few weeks, but not a problem at all. This is the end of the stitchy part, so if you want to shut this off now, thank you for joining me. I am glad to have you here. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell if you haven't done so. Maybe leave a like. Whatever you want, you know what to do. All the links for the stuff I showed, as far as it has links, will be down in the description box below. And next up will be something I started over the weekend, which is knitting. If you're not interested in that, bye. Hope to see you back soon. So, and if you're still here and still interested, you might have seen my first KnitCrate unboxing. There was an unboxing here on this channel. I will link it in the eye up there. And I have cat hair in my mouth, which is not irritating at all. And I finally braved the whole thing and cast something on this weekend. And this is why I didn't get a whole lot of stitching done, because I spent nearly all of my weekend thinking about knitting, trying to cake the skein, messing it up horribly, spending 5 hours untangling the mess, and then finally caking it, casting it on, and knitting. So I spent a good chunk of my Saturday actually trying to cake the skein of yarn, tangling it up, and it literally took me 5 hours to untangle the mess. And then I managed to finally cake it, and that's what's left of that. It's not perfect, as you can see. I have a bit of yarn coming out up here, and sometimes things get stuck, but it was my try 1.5, so I guess it can only get better from here. And this is what I got done knitting wise. This is a keyhole scarf, where this part here is a keyhole and the other end will be pushed through. It's a very short scarf, more like a cowl really. And I thought this looked easy enough for a first pattern. I just didn't want to knit a straight boring scarf. I think this part here now is finally getting pretty good and even. I hope. I'm telling myself it is. The keyhole part, yeah, it looks very messed up. It looks very messed up, but it was my first time splitting this and first knitting the first panel up and then going back to the second. I actually dropped the stitch when I put it all back on one needle. I messed up the seat stitch in here. So once I'm done with that, and whatever is left of this skein, I will use it to actually just knit stockinette back and forth and practice my purling. This yarn is giving me a lot of trouble when purling, so I'm glad that I only have to do it here in this small section. It keeps splitting, and I'm kind of proud of myself because my stitches are kind of loose. My problems in the past, whenever I tried knitting, was that I keep my tension too high, and then I can't get my needle in my stitches, and it's just turning into pain. But it's actually not the case this time around. Just to demonstrate, the first one, of course, is pretty loose, but I guess I now have, you see, I can get in there pretty easily while knitting, so I don't have a problem knitting. I'm also pretty quick. Just this regular knit stitch row I can do in about a minute. So that is not the issue, but the yarn is very, very loose, and you can split it super easily, and it keeps happening when purling. So I have to practice my purling, I think. I totally think it's my fault. I have always had problems with the purl stitch because I used to twist it in a weird way, which made my grandmother laugh. But I think for a first time piece and just a day and a bit of knitting, I made quite a bit of progress, and I didn't have to rip it out. Probably should have, and I did this joining here because I dropped the stitch, but yeah, I fudged it. I tried to fix the drop stitch afterwards, and I just did another knit back, front back thing to add the stitch I was missing. This is probably not going to get worn at any point by anyone, so that's that. The second KnitCrate unboxing, I don't know when this is going to happen, because the boxes are still not shipped. Usually international boxes ship out first, and it should have been here by now, but their shipping supplier messed something up, and all the international crates are still in the US, not shipped. So, yeah. And talking about customs and customs loving to sit on things, I also got something at the end of January, which is the February Advent yarn Advent from Ruby and Rose's Yarn on Etsy. YouTube suggested her first podcast to me sometime in January, and I'm so happy I clicked on that because I fell in love with that girl right away. I pretty much forced Rachel to watch the first podcast. I told her about her, and I think she didn't watch it back then, but I went back and told her, you have to watch it, that girl is just amazing, and she did, and lo and behold, we are both fans. And she announced that she was going to do, because she enjoyed her yarn advent calendar so much, she was going to do a monthly advent where you can open a skein of yarn every Saturday. And I ordered the first one. I got it last week, so I could open 3 of the 5 packages right away, which I also did, of course. And these are the colors. So the first one is called Winter Sunset, and is this gorgeous mix of blues and pinks, and there's a bit of yellow and green in here, or yellowish green. It's not a real yellow, it's a yellowish green. I think you can see it on camera a bit better than I can here in this lighting. It is so poofy. I absolutely love this color. It's so pretty. Although I have to say my favorite so far might be the second, which is A Walk Through the Woods. And that looks like this. So here you have the yellow, you have a bit of a peachy pink, a pink. I love this purple. It's just the perfect purple. There are a few speckles. And a bit of brown, of course, because woods. This is just amazing. This third color was Ice Skates, and it's this minty green blue with a bit of brown, and as you can see also a bit of speckling. And I think there's a bit of gray in here as well. And this Saturday I opened color number 4, which is Snowy Forest. And isn't this amazing? These green tones are just fabulous. So there's one more color. Ordering for March Advent just closed, so she has finished preparing the packages this weekend and they are going to ship out today. I'm filming this on Monday, February 24th, so they are going to ship today. And I hope customs will be nicer to me this time and won't sit on it for 4 weeks. And I can have to open it actually week by week. I mean, it's nice to get it and just all open it, but that's not what it's intended to be. And I want to use it as it's intended to be, showing restraint like the adult I am. But yeah, let's hope that this one will work out a bit better. So March is already done, but you can already pre-order April and May. She has an inspiration photo up that gives you a bit of a hint what the colors will be like. And yeah, I totally recommend that. I like to support small business, but I like especially to support small business by someone that is so young, so enthusiastic, and has it so together. I mean, I wasn't the most scatterbrained all over the place 16-year-old. I was probably more organized at 16 than I am now. But that is another level. A whole other level. All right, so that's really it now. That's all I have. I'm going to wait for the 5th color next Saturday, and then I will make a decision what I'm going to try to do with this. Probably some kind of cowl, and all colors used together. Oh, these are 20-gram skeins. I think I didn't say that. So once you're done, you have a full 100 grams of this fingering weight wool. Yeah. All right, that's it. 42 minutes. Well, that is shorter. I let you go, guys. Thank you for joining me for this. Thank you for staying to the end if you did. And like I said before, you can like, you can subscribe, you can hit the bell. There's so much you can do. I'll try to remember to link everything down below. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And yeah, my little assistant has probably decided it's time for a nap. I wish I could do that, but I have to go to work now. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and I will be back very soon. Bye-bye.